Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Mastermind Creations reformatted R-48 Optus Pexus, their version of Orion packs from the IDW comics. And what you can see in this Cybertronian truck mode thing there, we can put them off the sides. We can look at the reformatted box, which is actually kind of smaller than you'd expect. But you can see them there, and kind of doing the crazy action pose. And there's a reformatted 10th anniversary sticker here, and the Mastermind Creations logo and R-48 Optus Pexus Super Cop. And on the top here, you have Optus Pexus in a pose, and on the side, you have just R-48 Optus Pexus Super Cup in a little picture there, and the grid patchwork thing here with another picture. And on the bottom, you have warnings and websites and barcodes. In the back, you have a whole bunch of different poses and it's truck mode and all that stuff, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and in the box, you have, well, his combination instruction manual and a comic. You have both of those things, which is weird. This instruction manual shows a render, and the comic shows an actual picture of the toy. That's just, I just find it funny. But yeah, you just flip it over, and you got a comic, which is part of some ongoing thing. I don't know what's going on, other than these are definitely characters that look a lot like Transformers. Definitely aren't Transformers, that's for sure. And yeah, and then the instruction manual. You got a bunch of stuff going on there, and of course the instructions themselves, and also there's a whole section on articulation because this guy's crazy articulated. And a little card, which is, I believe this is actually plastic. Or if it's not if it's cardboard, it's very thick, nice cardboard. But yeah, it's plastic, I think. The card. And of course, text specs in the back. And a panel from the comic. Yeah. So that's the other stuff. And yeah, you have, well, Optus Pexus here in his truck mode. And that's how he comes packaged. And yeah, it's actually, pretty neat looking, actually. It's kind of that weird Cybertronian thing. It's that one of it's kind of that thing is like you don't like Cybertronian vehicles, you won't like this, because yeah, it's definitely very alien looking. You can see red in the front, blue in the back, got a bit of silver detailing, more silver detailing, some light blue, translucent blues and whatnot over top, or translucent plastic over painted bits and whatnot. You got silver, and you got little tiny headlights picking out there. You got big old tires with silver rims. A little bit of silver on the back, silver here in the middle. That says smokestacks, although pointing in weird directions. Or I guess those are smokestacks. I don't know. Maybe just exhaust vents, and then more exhaust pipes and whatnot. And yeah, I like it, but it might be not everyone's cup of tea. It's one of those things where it's like I think Cybertronian modes are one of those take it or leave it type things. Or love it or hate it, whatever you want to say. But yeah, he does roll. Although you have to get on this, I have to get a pretty good thing, because the tires, they have a lot of friction, so they don't like to roll super well. You can see some of them rolling and some of them just not. Yeah, something is causing it to lift. There we go. Yeah. Anyway, it's a pretty cool looking. Another thing is he comes with well, these guns, all of them will come with two black guns, and yeah, they can tab together like this. And that's the thing, they have little slots here that can go over these tabs right here in the top there, so they hold pretty good. And if you first run figures, aka anyone who pre-ordered for the most part, internationally, will get 2 extra gray guns, which is the same thing, just in gray. Thing is, these can tab on. There's also extra tabs. There's these little extra slots here, which can go over these little tabs right here on the outside of the front wheels. Although these aren't very secure. You can kind of tell that it's doesn't take much to get them to come off. But if you're just having it on display, they will somewhat hold. You can get a line. They will kind of hold, but they're not the greatest tabs in the world. And yeah, heck, they'll even do that. But yeah, it doesn't take much to. Yeah, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, there's kind of cool extra gray guns, and they can also do the same thing as the black because they're the exact same mold, and you can also throw them on the floor. Yeah, the exact same mold as the black ones, but just in gray. And if you order from Panic Steel Express, which I did not, they will have an extra head, which so I can't show that off, but that's there. And if you bought from another Chinese store, you don't get the gray guns or the head. So that's the thing. Yeah, his other accessories, he also actually includes a little baggie with extra fingers because, well, these fingers are really easily to lose or break because they're small and thin and fragile. But yeah, another accessory, which is, well, the Matrix, actually. And it comes in one piece, but yeah, it stores in here. And it's really easy to get to in the truck mode. It's not so easy to get to in the robot mode. You have to do some extra bits, which I'll show off. But yeah, it comes with the extra handles, which this I'll show you how to put together, and show you how to put together in the actual robot mode. But yeah, these handles, which is kind of annoying that it has to split apart to store, but it does, at least the handle do have storage. There's little slots here, and you can just tab them on. It's not the most secure tabs in the world. I've popped them off many times just trying to mess with this guy, but yeah, they'll hold. You know, they'll hold as long as you know. But yeah, it doesn't take much to accidentally just kind of do that. You know, just when you're posing or whatever. So yeah, just you know, that's a bit of storage right there. Yeah, that's the truck mode. I like it. And the thing is, I don't have any other reformatted figures except for Terminus Hexatron. And that thing's so old now, it's hard to really compare. It doesn't really even fit with the current purpose of reformatted. So yeah, I don't really have any other MMC reformat stuff. I just kind of always ignored it until, well, this guy, because, well, he basically hyped him as super poseable Optimus. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and transform him into robot mode, and we'll go from there. All right, so yeah, that's the Robo. The transformation is actually pretty simple. NMC's really good at this sort of thing, where they just make really simple, you know, easy to do transformations. I think they're actually, all the third-party companies, they're the closest to actually matching Takara in the just elegance of the transformations. Closest, and they still have a couple rough spots here and there, but I think they feel like they're the closest. And yeah, you can still take the Matrix handles and just tab them onto the hips. Although it's just best to take them off for the transformation, just because otherwise there's a good chance they'll just pop off anyway. They don't have to technically come off, but it's just easier that way. But yeah, this is a really nice looking robot. You know, it's very closely modeled after the IDW figure. They take some liberties, like in the comic artwork, the shoulders are actually more integrated, or the tires are more integrated in the shoulders. But here they kind of take that, you know, took the liberty with it because, well, for the sake of transformation and for the sake of articulation as well. Because, well, yeah, tires being part of it would have been doable probably, but would have gotten in the way of the articulation. But yeah, you can see there, you know, just again, nice red. You got the silver grill, little faux headlights there, silver popping up in the biceps, the nice head sculpt there, silver legs, and with the yellow detailing on the waist, and once again the silver and blue and whatnot, little bits of silver piston detail on the feet. Yeah, looks really nice. And yeah, the head sculpt is, yeah, this is the second improved one after some feedback. They got some feedback. You know, it's like, you know, you can see nice light blue eyes and everything, got the silver and everything. Looks real nice. Got a bit of a silver antenna. A little short because it's Orion Pax, not Optimus technically, although there's that weird thing where it's like he kind of didn't really change much when you change. Yeah, it was a weird thing in the comic. But yeah, I just really like how this guy looks and whatnot. It just looks real nice, and I just like this thing. It looks really good, and of course, yeah, you can take the guns and, you know, take them. And what you do here for the robot mode, you take the gun and extend out the barrel, and then unfold the handle, and that's his gun. And you can hold that, you know, you gotta open his hand, and there's a slot in the handle, and there's a tab on the inside of the palm. What you do is just, well, yeah, you just kind of slot that over like so, and then it's got a pretty good grip, all things considered. Got a pretty good grip on the gun, so there's that, you know. Pretty good grip, although it doesn't take too much either to get it out of his hand. So You know, they found a good balance there. Yeah, he just looks real nice. And I just really like how he looks overall. And yeah, the other thing is definitely, though, the articulation is probably the big reason to get this guy. That's the thing about him, is the articulation. Which I'll get into a little bit, but yeah, a couple things I want to bring up. The matrix, it's in here, and you notice because the chest is forward, it's no longer just, you can't just open it easily. Unfortunately, to open it in robot mode, you have to more or less kind of untransform him a bit. So you have to come back here and remove the tires and get the armors back, and then collapse these backwards. And you probably have to lift this up off the abdomen. You have to collapse these backwards, and then you can finally open the chest up. Which, the matrix inside, you just, take this and get your finger on that and then pull that out, and then you can pull this out. It just slots in. There's little slots on the bottom that go over these tabs. You can see right through there. Yeah, that's what you got to do to store the matrix. And then you can bring them back into robot mode. Yep. Yeah. And one thing I did forget to mention also, this side, the tire, you can see, I'm not sure how you can see that, but this right there, that gouge right there, that's seemingly caused by this pin. I think the pin is fired in a little too hard. So this big old gouge right there in the paint is it basically, this tire, this thing kind of running along, this bit on the tire joint just running along this and causing that gouge. It only seems to be on this, seems to be a fairly universal problem. It's pretty much only on this left side, but yeah, this tire just gouges that, and it's kind of unfortunate. So if you can, okay, you can, I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's a little bit, you can see a little bit of red plastic kind of hanging out around that pin. Yeah, so if you can, just try to get that pin a little bit back into the thing, possibly, unlike me, who just wasn't paying attention to that. Oh, well, that's a thing. I didn't know about it until it's too late, until I went to transform him. Huh? What's that? Oh, no. See, that's an unfortunate. I just kind of helped make it worse, I think, just now. Whatever, it's already there, so for me it's too late. But you may be able to save yourself. Yeah, the matrix, though. Yeah, so the handles, just kind of store on the hips right here, and you can pop those off, and they just kind of, well, there's little indentations on the top and bottom. These are little things. It's just kind of like a basic hinge. Just kind of don't drop it. That's one thing. It's easy to drop. You just take the thing and just peg it in. And peg it in. There you go. Matrix. Doesn't open, but, and these can angle a little bit so it can, adjust for poses. Because yeah, he can't, full grasp it like with his entire hand, but you can get a couple fingers into the handles. About 3 of them in my estimation. My experience, yeah, about 3 fingers can go in the handle. Then you just got the pinky just kind of chilling out. Pinky's out. They can hold it. You can do his crazy poses with that stuff. Hopefully that you might have seen those, but yeah. You can do poses with those, which, yep. The other thing, though, is there's also storage on the back here for guns. You can use these tabs and slots, which are terrible, and they're worse here in the robot mode than they are in the vehicle mode. But you can also, there's a slot here on the top of the gun, which goes over this slot here, and that's way more secure, and I like to use those, and also gives them a little back cannons. I believe there's a couple comics where he had comic panels or issues or whatever, he had back cannons, so there you go. Looks good, actually, that way. So that's where I like to put the gray ones, just keep them back there for eternity. Yeah, I just think that looks good. So the big thing about this guy, the articulation. This is the big selling point about this guy. This is the reason to get him. So we'll go ahead and start off with the head here. You got a ball joint at the top. So you got left, right, up, and down. Lots of up and down. You got a lot of wiggle and waggle. Lots of that. He's also got this little neck joint, which is on a hinge, so you can go even further back and whatnot. Yes, I guess technically the platform can work as well, though that's kind of just more or less sinking his head in, but might work for some funny poses. His shoulders are a little weird. He's got the full 360 there. He's gone outward right there. He's got these hinges as well, so you can go really high up. You can see that. Go really high up. You can go pretty far down right there. There is a little bit of butterfly, although it's kind of limited just by the sculpting. I wish these maybe the chest pieces would move. It feels like these chest pieces could have moved a bit more, but they do not, at least as far as I can tell, which is a little unfortunate. That's a weird limitation on what's otherwise an insanely posable figure. His biceps are swivels, so left and right. Right there. He's got, well, one heck of a elbow bend. You can see, and it even reveals detail. Double jointed elbow right there. So good bend there. Oop, that just came off because I messed with it. Yeah. Wrists, though, of course, can rotate. There's also a hinge on the wrist as well. So you can do that. The fingers. Oh boy, the fingers. Let's talk about the hands. So the thumb is on a ball joint to the base. You can see that. It goes, in and out like that. You can move around. You can rotate the thumb. There's also a hinge here right above the ball joint. There's another hinge, knuckle right there. The fingers. The fingers are there. All have outward hinges. They have side-to-side hinges, so they can all go outward, and you have a lot of posability there. They have a hinge right above that, so they can bend. They have another hinge and another hinge. They have multiple hinges each, so you get full finger curls and whatnot. So that's a lot. Even make a pretty decent fist. It's one of those things where I feel like a lot of people got annoyed by the how the fist looked initially could look, but honestly, once you kind of figure out the kind of the trick to it, so to speak. Yeah, once you kind of figure out the trick to it, it looks pretty much fine. I don't see any, yeah, I think the fist looks genuinely fine as a fist. So yeah. Continuing on though. Reattach that. No. He's got, of course, the usual waist swivel, but he's got a second swivel up here, a second swivel up here, so he can look more natural, turning left and right. Looks a lot more natural. There is, oh look, an ab crunch. Oh no, that's it? No, actually no, it's not it, because up here you can, separate this joint, and hey look, that's a bit of a crunch, and then yeah, you can really crunch it right there, if you can see that. A lot of crunch. And that's still, that's also a ball joint. So you get left and right there. You get that down here as well. This can slide up. It's a little stiff, but it can slide up. It slides up. That slides up, and lets you further hinge that. So yeah, he can really bend at the waist. He's actually one of the few figures I know of. Not just Transformers, but figures in general, which can actually, if you do it right, touch his toes. I mean, yeah, you can pretty much. You can pretty much touch his toes. So yeah, that's a lot of joints right there in the waist, a lot of it, and very impressive. fell compressed down. And then one of the cannons came off again. Right. Continuing on. The hips. Okay, so you got the usual hip articulation. You got forward, which goes forward about that far. You got back about that far, which it seems limited, but that is kind of a natural stopping point. You try to bend your leg back without starting to bend anything else. The outward is nice and ratcheted, and you can actually go pretty far out. Thing is, there's this hip skirt right here, which this is one you really got to watch out for, is this hip skirt. A lot of people's are really tight, and I've heard people's breaking. So there's a screw in there. Not sure whether you can see that, but there's a little screw in there. You can see that little black dot, maybe. If you see that little black dot in there, that's the screw. Just go in there with a screwdriver and just loosen it a little bit, and that will help with this. Because this is a little tighter than it's comfortable with. I'd be comfortable with. That can actually go pretty far up. So then, you can get the hip pretty high up there. The other thing is there's another little joint here, so you can have, which has 3 detent points. So you got that and that and that, which can help you further. So if you're like trying to really, you're really trying to do certain poses, you can really kick even higher. Just be careful with that, because then now you're starting to push this thing backwards, which is not where it's supposed to go. Right. So you got that, all that stuff. You of course got the usual thigh swivel. Pretty good. It has more range if you splay the legs out a little bit. So you got that thigh swivel. You got, knees though. Knees are double jointed, so they look like this. Plus you got this cool piston detail. And so you got that. There's a lot going on there. So you got that much range at the knee, and it looks real good too. Supposedly something to do with the sliding the thighs as well is supposed to help you with some articulation. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Yeah, see the thigh slides down. I'm not sure why they point that out specifically when they tell you to slide the thigh down for robot mode, but I'm not sure if it's supposed to be slid down or not, because like it tells you to slide it down for the transformation, but then it's like acting like no, it's supposed to be up for the robot mode, and then you're supposed to slide it down manually when you bend the knees and whatnot. So I'm not sure about that. So I'm not sure. It's kind of, they're weird about it. I'm not sure if which is the correct thing, but there's that. And down here at the feet, of course, you got your good old ankle tilts. Seems that far, but then you got forward and you got back. You got really far forward. You got really far down. Again, angled, you got that much. And you got a little toe joint right there. So guy's poseable. The guy is really, really poseable. In fact, he's not only one of the most poseable Transformers I own, he is one of the most poseable figures I own. I don't think even my Figmas have this degree of posability. Like, I'm not kidding. This guy is insanely poseable, and he can still transform. He is up there. The other figures I have, which are kind of on the similar caliber of transforming when it comes to transforming and posability and all that stuff, is let's see. There's of course, Perfect Effects, Jinrai, their PC-16, Make Toys, their Striker. I have Striker Noir, but Striker Man and Striker Noir, that guy. And, MP44, to be honest. Those are the ones that I feel have all they're the whoa, holy crap posability. Thing is, here's the thing. He doesn't really scale with a lot of anything but really MMC's own line. He's too big for Generations, stuff, and he's too small for Masterpiece. Like, here he's with Earthrise Prime. He's way too big for that. You know, on that scale, he's just, you know, that front, he's just way too big. There's that. And like, he's too small for Masterpiece. So like, yeah, MP44 here. Yeah, he's noticeably shorter than MP44. But yeah, I guess you might be able to fudge it because, oh yeah, you know, Ryan Pax gets bigger and becomes Optimus, you know. That you can kind of maybe fudge it a little bit, but yeah, good luck. Also, man, MP44 is getting get dusty. MP44 does also have pretty close articulation as well. The biggest thing, I think MP44 has better butterfly joints. But this guy, you know, has better waist articulation. Although MP44 is still really impressive, I think, just because he turns into an actual Earth truck rather than a, you know, made-up Cybertronian truck. And just for the sake of it, also, Make Toys Striker Noir. You see, he's a little taller. Not a whole lot taller, but a bit taller. So that's something right there. Actually, he's actually a whole head taller. He's a whole head taller. So yeah, that's a bit of a thing there. It's just, yeah, getting him. So yeah, really the only thing he scales with is MMC's own stuff, for better or for worse. So yeah, if you want him for your Generations or Masterpiece shelf, well, yeah, he's probably not going to fit unless you have a very specific niche he somehow fulfills, which I don't know, he might. But yeah, I like this guy. I like him a lot. I like him quite a bit. He is fantastic. Posability, his looks, transformations, really simple and clever. He's just absolutely, for me, worth it. You know, I collect primes and whatnot. You know, Nemesis or Optimus, whichever. I collect them, and yeah, I think because of that, he's just amazing. He's one of the best figures. He's probably already in the early running for one of the best figures of the year, best third-party figure of the year. We're just already. It's only February. He just really is that good. One of the things, yeah, if you're very much a stickler about scale, he's going to be hard. Unless you already have a whole bunch of the MMC reformatted guys, this guy's going to be a bit of a hard sell. I don't have him. But if you're someone like, also maybe you just have an Optimus shelf or something, or Optimus / Orion Pack shelf, this guy will go well on it. Or if you just go on a really hyper poseable transformer, this is just a good option in general. Yeah, so if you're a scale hound, this guy, and you don't have any other reformatted, this might not work for you. But everyone else, yes, I think this is absolutely worth picking up, especially since he's only like $115. It's like, yeah, this guy is a bargain. So yeah, it's just, yes, I highly recommend picking this guy up. He is great. The only thing is to watch out for is the joint. Other thing I forgot to mention, the joints are kind of tight, so you might want to go through with a bunch of chocolate. I haven't really done that yet, but yeah, a lot of the joints are tight, and some people are a little worried about them. For the most part, I haven't had any real problems, but except for a couple of them, which yeah, the joints are a bit tight, so that you might want to go through chocolate oil. You use the screws on these side hip skirts just to loosen those up a bit. Watch out for this little pin on the wheel thing to gouging the center thing right there. But yeah, other than those possible issues, he's great. I would definitely recommend picking him up for sure. He's just that good. There's no question. It's like he's just worth being in your collection, unless you're really a stickler for scale stuff. So yeah, that's it. I think he is absolutely fantastic. I hope you enjoyed this or found it informative, or entertaining. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out on Twitter. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1. I usually post photos and whatnot of the various figures I have there. And also check out Patreon and Coffee. And I shall see you next time with another video review.